What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 3POA podcast. Got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of before we start, but I can't do it alone. I got to bring in my friend and the host of the Infinity Equation podcast, Mr. Dante. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? It's great to be here.
So, there's something you wanted to show, or we wanted to show?
Yes. Just real quick, a little backstory. There was a video that Tony had put out last year, right before Joe Fest. He said, "I would love to get this as a gift." Let's just say as a gift. I should say. He wanted to get it, and he wanted to see. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get it. So at Joe Fest, we all talked about it. I'm excited to chip in and present it as a gift to Tony because we love Tony. Who doesn't love Tony? Like, come on, what's not to love about him? That cheery attitude, that lovable face. Ooh.
Should we bring him in?
Yes, let's bring him in. Let's
bring him in.
I'm scared one of you is going to get your dick out in a minute.
Oh, I know. I'll leave that to Dante.
Hey, there you go. This is a chauffeur, right? I'm supposed to get undressed. No, sorry.
I'm blushing. What the hell's going on here? This is really suspect.
It was literally, I got the idea from a video that you had put out last year. So, without further ado.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
We took some of the super chat money from Infinity Equation and we got that for you. So that's going to be in the mail real soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You're going to send me down another rabbit hole though, because now I want to get the Knight Rider one and
get the backtrack, get the DeLorean.
Yeah.
But I know those things are hard to come by in Australia. So
yep.
Doing you a solid. So without further ado, let's get this show started.
Shut up and sit down.
What's up, toy fans? I am Laserpants. Welcome to episode 6 of the 3POA podcast. We're talking some Marvel Legends tonight. I am joined by my co-host, Tony.
I am a miserable human being and a hater. Nice to meet you.
And the man behind Action Force, Bobby Vala. What's up, man?
What's up, gang?
Now, we have a very special guest with us tonight. I'm a big fan of his channel. I think he's very funny. He's probably going to get me in trouble tonight.
Let's hope
Mr. Talker Art. The man
How you guys
doing good. You got like 10,000 action figures in that room?
Yeah, probably right around there.
Something like that?
Yeah. Last time I counted, it was over 9, but that was like quite a few years ago. So it's got to be probably over 10 at this point. Not that that's like I'm flexing. I think it's pathetic, but kind of is what it is at this point. Hey, Bobby.
What's up?
Now that you're making pinless action figures, you had to get laser removal on those pins.
No way, man. I'm vintage now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm vintage. I'm worth more money.
Congratulations on the line.
Thanks, man.
To see
It's been unbelievable.
nice to see you
I'm
doing
very
good
happy.
with that.
Yeah, you were digging them. I saw your review.
Yeah, I loved them. I know Bobby was a little nervous. I thought he had instant buyer's regret the second he sent them to me. He was like, God, I think I just fucked up. But then they actually worked out for him. I didn't do the hairdryer bullshit. I got a little space heater. I just kind of set them in front of that in the boxes, and they all just worked out just fine. Maybe you just had some weird situation to where I didn't do the drop down on the hips. I was a little scared for you. I gave it a little tug, and it wasn't.
Nah, you'll be fine.
Well,
Okay.
Bobby hit me up, and he's like, "Hey, do you think I should send some to Talker Art? He might rip me a new one." I was like, "Nah, you should definitely."
Yeah,
Listen, man,
it worked out.
It was the
worked
Pepsi
out for
challenge. I mean, it was the only way to know, that I made it.
Yeah. Come series 2, I'm sweating for you, but series 1 was good.
Series 2, I'm not sweating for Series 2. Hard part's over, man. Series 2 is awesome.
Okay.
All uphill from here.
What
Go ahead.
The new body mold or something?
The new body mold's coming for Series 4. So Series 3 is going to be all new females. And then Series 2 will have a little bit of reuse. There's a few new parts in Series 2. A few new body parts. There's a lot of like other new parts in Series 2.
Right.
And then Series 3 is all new. And then Series 4 will be the new body.
I don't want to see you fall into the Bucky Cap hole.
No.
Just reusing the same shit over and over with a little new paint and new head.
No, you have to do that when you're starting out. You have to do it when you're starting out just to build your base, But once you're a couple years in, you got to abandon a body you've used 7-8 times.
Right.
So then why's Hasbro using the Bucky Cap for like over 10 years now?
So here's the interesting thing with that, and I never understood it because we used that body so many times. Now there wasn't just one tool of that body; they duplicated that mold numerous amounts of times. Because it's like if I was doing a Spider-Man wave and Dwight was doing an X-Men wave and an Avengers wave, a lot of those waves are being produced at the same time. Now, because of capacity issues, I can't use some of the same bodies he's using because if, my one Spider-Man has X body, he can't use that Spider-Man body because I need it for Spider-Man. So it's like we're always in constant contact as far as like what bodies we could use, but something like that Bucky Cap body, that mold was duplicated so many times. And I didn't understand why. I'm like, if you're going to spend the money to duplicate the mold, you might as well just do a new mold, like a new body. And it wasn't until, who was it? The cosmic Spider-Man guy he's all white and he's got the blue V with the Kirby crackle on him. What figure was that we got the new body, almost like the new Bucky Cap body?
That was like the Universe, Mr. Universe or something.
Yeah. But it was like, dude, just do a new mold. We had so many sculptors that could just tweak a body, just do a new body. I never understood why. Like when I found out that they duplicated that mold, I'm like, why not just make a new body?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of duplicating that mold and just using that body so many different times when it's, it's just played out. So I don't know. I tried to bring change to that team and they wanted to keep doing shit the same way. Now I'm gone and now they're starting to do things differently, but
not that differently. They still got
listen, man, they're doing pinless now, even though I was pushing pinless for 3 years.
No, you're taking credit for that, Bobby.
No, and now all of a sudden they're doing pinless. So
that was more me than you, bro. Come on. They didn't give a fuck about you. They fired you.
Laid off. There's a difference between firing and laid off.
No, there's not. It's the same shit.
When you get fired, you don't get a severance package. That's the difference.
Oh, okay.
See that?
Oh, you were made redundant.
Yeah. Hey, they gave me a shit ton of money to be redundant. That's fine. I'll
There
take
you
that
go.
money all day long.
Well, we
You say they're
got
using pinless though, but there's still a lot of pins and new stuff coming out. When I picked up that Age of Apocalypse wave a few weeks back, man, some of those their legs are like made of rubber.
yeah.
They're
you
still
can bend
using
them
like
sideways.
there's a lot of new bodies, they're still using a lot of old parts. So like there's only a few figures, maybe like one figure per wave that's like 100% new, and then they have to like fold that library into the existing library. So the library is so big that you're always going to have pins in certain waves. It's just inevitable because that library is so big, and they're not going to waste that money that they spent. Me, if I were them, I wouldn't waste that money. I'd still be using those anyway, just because you paid for that stuff. You want to maximize your cost as a business. As a fan, it's a story.
When they're sitting there with the two Barbie doll guys and they're trying to design like a character that they're going to come out with, do they have to think of like five characters that they can reuse that body for, or do they have like a limit? Is there like, oh, we're going to do this Doc Ock in this fat body, but we have to think of 4 other characters we can use this on before we can do it?
Yeah, so like when I did the Spider-Man wave with the 6-armed Spidey, I needed to justify doing those new arms and that new torso. Even though the fans gave me a huge amount of horse shit.
Fuck those guys. I had your back on that one.
Listen,
those guys are fucking pussies.
They were like, it's
These
kind
are
of
the
like
guys, the same guys complaining that the Cannonball didn't have fucking legs on it. Like when you came out with that, I was like, finally something fucking different. This is amazing. I loved it, and then everybody had to shit all over it.
Yeah, everyone shit all over it because they're like, oh, no articulation in the torso. I'm like, have you ever designed product? Have you ever done engineering on a product? Do you think that it's so easy to just say, yeah, just put articulation in? If I could put articulation in, I would have. I pushed every product to the brink of costing. And I was like, either you get him or you don't. So would you rather have him with no articulation, or would you not have him at all? And every time I proposed that question to them, they were like, well, and it's like, yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is with that Spider-Man, they were like, all right, well, if you tool him up, what could you use him for? I'm like, well, I'm going to put Doppelganger in the next wave. And they were like, all right. And then I was going to do like the 6-arm man spider after that.
That'd be too small.
But I was able to justify the tooling with Doppelganger. I used a new
when you're thinking of doing that man spider.
What was that?
After looking at when you're thinking about doing that man spider on that body, after looking at the Toy Biz one, like you got to be like scared of that, right? Because that one's hard to fuck with.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that 50% of it was me kind of bullshitting, and 50% of it was me serious. I knew I could definitely do Doppelganger. I wasn't 100% sure on Man Spider. But
that just would have just been
it was kind of like a bullshit excuse just to get it done. I was like, oh yeah, I could totally do this, and then I just
how do you like when Marvel Select comes out with something, and then these fucking fuck boys gotta beat them up because they'll say the articulation's not as good. Like say when they do Juggernaut or any big character, and they completely fuck up Marvel Legends. And then I'll go over there and talk to Dwight, like pin him down at Comic-Con, back him in a corner. And I'm like, bro, you seeing this shit? They're fucking you up. Like, how are you even attempting to follow this? Like, they fucking destroy you. And then he'll be like, well, our articulation is better. And I'm like, fucking suck a dick, dude. Like, you got too many people telling you, like, that your shit's amazing all day long for you to do something different. And then I gave the same speech to the Diamond guy, Zach or whatever, the guy with the funky looking beard.
Zach.
I talked to him, and then I was like, man, why don't you just do more big Marvel characters? They sell great. They add to my collection, like for my own personal gain. I don't give a fuck about his company. But then, and he's just like, well, I just don't want to turn into that. I don't want to be known as the company that does big Marvel characters. And I'm like, obviously, they're working out for you because you keep reissuing the same bullshit that you've already sold us, like the Watcher Juggernaut, shit like that. So obviously, you know, this shit sells good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
let's-
mean, go ahead, Ryan.
we got to get to some super chats here.
Yeah.
First one from Sal. Thank you, man. He says, no message, just love.
Thanks,
Back
Al.
at you, man. And then we got one from Master Son 42. He says, Bobby, let me know when you need a badass black Air Force flyer for the next figure. However, give me 4 months since my flight suit shrunk a bit.
Will do.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Master
Kevin.
Son. And then we got one from Jim Largo. Thank you. He says, hi, guys. The character who needed pinless arms is Spider-Man, yet Hasbro put out the new retro card Spidey without pins. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
listen, guys. I know it's easy as a fan to say, give us pinless, give us pinless, give us this, give us that. It's not really that easy. Like, yes, it's easy in one
You did
sense,
it.
but it's not total. You have to look at
Yeah,
it.
no shit.
I'm not
Was
listening. I'm not trying to justify for Hasbro. I'm not trying to stick up for them. I hate them. But what I'm trying to educate people on is how this works. And just because you say, I want pinless on Spider-Man, they made a new Spider-Man body a few years ago. I said it before. They want to maximize the amount that they can get out of that body. They spent that money. It's like buying a new car. If you buy a new car, don't you want to get at least 100, 150,000 miles out of that car? Well, you're not going to say, I got 20,000 miles out of that car, so I'm just going to get rid of it, or, whatever. You don't. You want to get more out of it. You need to maximize the use. So from their standpoint, as a business making money, you can't just say, oh, we did that Spider-Man body a couple years ago. Let's just do a new one just to give people pinless. It doesn't really work like that, guys. I know. Listen, me as a fan, I want that shit. But me as a designer and a manufacturer of toys, like, I get it. I see it from the other side. So just because you want
at the same time, Bobby, they give us a pinless Spider-Man. Now, guess what? They get to redo all the same bullshit that they did, and all of us, we're just going to buy it again. Hey, here it is in black Spider-Man. Okay, we'll get it. Blue Spider-Man. They'll just redo it all, and we'll buy them all again. And it'll be like our 99th Spider-Man. So I definitely see, like, they can do it. They want to do it. Like, all their budget goes towards their movie figures, and they don't give a fuck about the comic book fans, because I don't know if that's like a Jesse Falcon move, or if he's like, fuck you, like, all the money goes towards my shit and fuck your guys' shit. I don't know how it works, but it sucks buying this shit when you see these mediocre, lazy ass attempts at figures. Like, I mean, DC Collectibles did it. Granted, they're fucking out of business now, but all their shit was like, everything's different molds. McFarlane, everything's a different fucking mold. They can do it, but they're more concerned about their Christmas fucking bonus than giving us real shit. Like, your shit's good. If you keep reusing the same shit, like, it's gonna get tired. Like, don't, like, I want Series 2, but if you're gonna use the same shit, like, I like you, bro. Like, sending me Series 2 on the same body, that might not work out to your advantage. I mean, I think they're amazing, but there's only so many times you can use it. Like, if you want to use it and then come back to it a couple years later, granted, you got that shit on your shelf, but don't just do like 12 figures all on the same body like that. I mean, I'm not saying yours, because some of them are different, but a little scale difference would be like a big character, a small character, like a female character with like some actual real tits, like how they did Black Cat, like something. Like, look at us, we're fucking nerds. You think we want like a girl in a baggy jumpsuit? Like, are you fucking kidding me? I want something I can jerk off to. Like, I don't want some bullshit like that.
You heard him, Bobby. Big tits.
I can tell you right now, I probably won't be sending you Series 2 just because
probably a good idea.
But it's like, you gotta understand, though, from a business point of view, I don't have the capital yet to just tool up on the body.
I get where you're coming from. Like, you're coming up, you're just you're just trying to get in the green.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. But at the same time, you trying to get in the green is going to be repetitive. And I mean, because I'm not a huge Action Force guy. If I was, I'd be like, fuck it, send it. gave me some more repainted shit. Like, I'm cool with it. But since I'm not a big act, like when Marvel Legends sends me a bunch of repainted bullshit that it just sucks. It sucks, but it's a new character, and they're characters that I hold dear to my heart. Granted, they're giving them a minimum attempt of making them look cool, but they're doing it. Like, I mean, you got McFarlane over here, like, fuck, every figure's a new mold, and he's still going strong. Like, well, I mean, I don't know how much longer he's going to make it, but.
Well, going back to that point that you made, just to give you some insight, the reason why McFarlane and DC and other companies can do all new molds is the royalty. I'm not publicly going to say what the royalty is for Hasbro and Marvel, but it's fucking disgusting. Like, it is absolutely disgusting how Disney can expect Hasbro to make good, compelling product with the royalty that they have laid on them. And it was like, why do you think when I was working on the 3 3/4 line, that line died? Like, why do you think that those last 2 waves were dog shit? Why do you think Yondu in the 2-pack of 4-inch movie figures didn't come with his arrow, even though his quiver was open and I had it sculpted up? Why?
Cut the budget on you.
Because we're always cost-cutting shit because of the fucking royalty, because they're greedy bastards. So the DC royalty is not that high. So that's why McFarlane's able to probably do more stuff, because he doesn't have, this huge royalty hanging over his head that he has to write this check to them. Marvel, Disney, man, that's a juggernaut, dude. So they are writing this huge check for royalties. So that hinders the amount of new stuff that you can do. Now, they're always, like, movie stuff is always going to be new molds, always. Unless it's Avengers where you can get more use out of that Cap costume, but Iron Man was always different, so there was 2 new Iron Man. Dude, look at Eternals. Look at that dog shit wave. That's all brand new tooled shit. What a waste of money, because those are just peg warmers. They tooled up every single figure new, but you know what? You can't not. Marvel's not going to approve that. So you have to spend the money there. So if you're spending the money on that dog shit wave, then the comic waves suffer. So it's like when I was doing the Spider-Man waves and I had the movie wave and the comic wave, I had to put the majority of my tooling to the movie wave because, it is what it is. You can't get by not tooling movie stuff. Like, they're never going to let that slide. So, the comic stuff suffers.
Who's they? Who's they? Who's not letting it slide?
Marvel's, because they won't approve it. Like, I can't
make Marvel Jesse at this point.
Well, Marvel is Jesse, but it's also the studio. Jesse doesn't have the final say. Jesse's just kind of like Jesse, and I don't want, I like Jesse. We're friends. I don't want this to sound bad on him, but he's kind of like a secretary. We would submit it, and then he would pass it along to the studio. The only thing he had feedback, the only thing he can control was the comic stuff. He would be the one saying, yes, no, change this, change that on comic stuff. Movie stuff always went to the studio, and we had to wait for the studio's feedback on that. But it's like, you can't take whatever Iron Man's mark was in Endgame and say, well, it's kind of similar to what he had 2 movies ago. We'll just use that figure. The studio's going to be like, no, it doesn't match the reference. Even though they kind of fucked us on, the time travel suits, that was such a big clusterfuck. So the studio's kind of bad in that sense, but yeah, the studio, the Marvel Studios is the one, and Lucasfilm, they're the ones that have the ultimate say. As far as classic comic stuff, yeah, that's Jesse.
All right, so let's get into some more super chats, and then we're gonna start at the beginning of Marvel Legends. And I know we've already talked about all the engineering and cost and manufacturing of it, but we'll talk about the history a little bit. First one, Matt Talon, thank you very much. He says, Bobby, you need to make a spiritualist for the line. You could call him the Guru.
No fucking chance.
Instant peg warmer.
No chance. I put him in a purple costume, yellow fucking accents, and make him look like an idiot.
Yeah. And then we got one from Dalzell Designs. Thank you. No message, but appreciate it. And then A World Made of Cardboard. Thank you. He says, my wife wanted me to send this super chat to you, Tony. Love you guys and the content, and I know you can't watch and know every pop culture reference. This is for you to explain to Bobby and Ryan what a Dalek is. Dalek?
Dalek. Did it again.
I mean, look, I know it's from Doctor Who. I don't watch Doctor Who. That's like another.
Yeah, they're the evil robots in Doctor Who.
Okay. Are they the ones that look like a big like R2D2 or something? They're like
yeah,
kind of okay.
with metal bubbles all over them.
All right. Well, all right. Thanks, World Made of Cardboard. Appreciate it. And then we got one from Christopher Miller. Thank you. He says, Bobby, love the line. Laser Pants, love the beard. Thanks. Talker, love the collection. Tony, love the channel, and hope your heel gets better soon.
Thanks.
You're looking slimmer, Tony. You're looking attractive.
Yeah.
Getting in desert rat shape, baby.
I fucked up yesterday. I decided to drink 12 beers and a whole bottle of vodka. So
no, you didn't do anything wrong.
That's called an off day.
My wife got home from work and I'm like passed out on the couch, no t-shirt on. Like, she's like, what the fuck is going on here? So, I don't know. I'm just about to piss off some fans of Boba Fett. Speaking of which, I've pissed off a lot of people with my video that dropped earlier about the Book of Boba Fett. And having taken some advice from Tim Ward, I would like to take the opportunity to apologize to absolutely fucking no one.
Love it! That's what I was hoping for. I was like, don't do it. Do the Connor. Do the Connor.
I'm not apologizing for my videos, man.
It was hilarious. And people take it too seriously. Yeah. Pack Photos, thank you very much. He says, Bobby, the Marvel Universe 3.75 line was dope. The articulation and sculpt we got for that scale size was incredible.
Listen, Dave Vonner made that line amazing. I took it over, and I had very big shoes to fill. I got one good year at a universe. That was the wave with Deathlock and Death's Head and Executioner. Like, that was a great wave. And then the next year they were like, hey, we're not going to lower the price. We're just going to take away all your articulation and accessories. So good luck with that. And I was like, fuck, thanks. You know?
Yeah.
Then everyone told me, like, oh, you killed the line. Yeah, I killed the line. I'm the one that made their cost sheets and told them, hey guys, we should probably cut out all this articulation. Yeah, that was exactly me. Idiots.
I figured the Star Wars 3 3/4 line would have been killed by now after what they did to that. And I think the only thing keeping it alive is that Star Wars fans will buy anything.
Yeah, Star Wars fans are dedicated to that scale.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Pack Photos.
So that's the real shit. That's why, because that shit's way better than anything else out there. Custom. Once again, every figure is its own mold. Every figure has amazing paint. Every figure looks like the character. Like, this shit is awesome. They're the guy who picks the characters, he should be fired. But other than that, the shit is great.
But you remember what they did back in 2013 when they had the vintage collection and it was awesome, and then they totally killed it and they brought back 5 POA. The paint was horrible. They raised the price way up on these things. That's when I stopped collecting. I'm like, I'm not buying this. And then they gave the 3 3/4. They called it the Black Series, and it was only at Walmart. Well, good luck finding that.
Yeah, good luck finding Star Wars 3 3/4. Period.
Right. To this day.
When's the last time you walked in and saw a whole set of those sitting on the shelf?
Exactly. No, it's been a decade. You can't find them.
What I found interesting was that Star Wars went backwards and they went to 5 POA. What the line started at, and it didn't work. Yet G.I. Joe can go back to O-ring, and man, those fans will gobble those nuts up all day long. And that's the thing that is weird. It's like, you want O-ring? Listen, if you guys have seen my Joe room at home, I have every single O-ring figure ever made. I fucking love A Real American Hero, but I'm not sitting here clamoring for O-ring. That shit's dated, dude. Why do you want to go back to that? Why do you want to go backwards? You should always evolve as a toy line. Don't go backwards.
What the fuck's an O-ring, Bobby? You're getting way too I feel like I'm talking to a scientist right now. What the fuck's an O-ring?
G.I. Joes have that little rubber gasket ring inside of them.
I have 0 G.I. Joes.
Well, that's why you don't know, motherfucker.
Yeah, but at least you got some action force. All right.
Those are the ones they're tied together with a rubber band, and then the rubber band always broke.
Yep. World Made of Cardboard, thank you very much. He says, Tony, love the Boba Fett review. All I can say is, why didn't you tell us how you really thought about?
Because that would have got me banned from YouTube.
That was a great video. If you guys haven't seen it after the stream, definitely check out Tony's Boba Fett video. Okay, so Marvel Legends. Talker, I know you probably have 6,000 of them in your collection room. Bobby, you helped design them. Tony, you got a few. I have a lot. I'm not on like Talker's level. But it's a line that's been around for 20 years at this point. And there's not a lot of toy lines that can claim even 5 years. You know, you go back and you look at some of these toy hunting videos from 6-7 years ago, and there's toy lines that most of the toy lines are not on the shelf except for Marvel Legends. It was started by Toy Biz in 2002. I got in from the very beginning. Talker, I know you were even collecting before that, like what, the 5-inch Marvel figures?
Yeah, I did every 5-inch. I'm starting to get rid of them a little by little. I just don't even, they're just taking up shelf space at this point. But yeah, like I had every 5-inch figure, mail away, you name it, I had every one. So I would go down to Comic Con when Jesse's sitting there trying to sneak in the back door with this fold out table, pulling action figures out of his pockets in Ziploc bags. And then I would just fuck with them the whole show, like the whole time. And it was that's back before he turned into a liberal bitch, and he was actually kind of cool. And then I would fuck with them. And then he was like really cool. Like he was actually really cool at one point. I know that you guys probably can't believe that because you've seen that corporate greed gleamer in his eyes. And he didn't always used to be like that, bro. And then, man, I would just arm wrestle with him and be like, this sucks. Why can't you make this? And I would fuck with him so much to where it just turned into a joke. And I was like, holy shit, this dude is actually really cool. And then one year he gave me like that yellow Daredevil when it was impossible to get. And then that's when I just fucking reached around the table and get my handy. But other than that, like it was cool. But I don't know, man, when they were 5-inch and they started to go to 6-inch, like I had like a meltdown. Like I wasn't good with it, like, because I wasn't ready to let my 5-inch go. And it's like, what the fuck you doing fucking up the scale? Because they didn't know about 6-inch yet. That's like when all the weird lines were coming out, like the Venom line and some weird like X-Men lines and shit. And they weren't Marvel Legends yet. They were like transitioning in between the two. And they had no fucking clue what to do. And that's like when Marvel just said, fuck it. And Image completely took them out of business. And like, they were like making Image toys. Like like nobody gave a fuck about Marvel then.
Yeah. You can still find those Image figures at toy shows for like $5 carded, you know,
the ones that they did.
Yeah. From back then. Yeah. Those are, no one wanted them.
They did. I don't know, man. That fucking pit was cool. And
no.
Cool shit.
I'm talking the old 5-inch stuff. Like
those
when they did like Wildcats and But Toy Biz, it was a company that was owned by Ike Perlmutter, who is still around. He became the CEO of Marvel Enterprises. So Toy Biz was a company that actually helped save Marvel from bankruptcy in the 90s. They combined Toy Biz with Marvel and created Marvel Enterprises.
Right.
And then that's also when Marvel started selling off their movie licenses to all these different studios. But Marvel Legends, for me, it really started with that Spider-Man Classics line in 2001. When they went to, that was their first like 6-inch hyper articulated 6-inch. Started with Spider-Man Classics Wave 1. It had the Spider-Man with the J. Jonah Jameson dio. You probably still got that in your room there, Talker.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. See,
I want to go with the little desk and all that bullshit.
Yeah. No. The Spider-Man, he came with a stand that had a billboard with J. Jonah Jameson on it. It was like a brick wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere.
But that was like 2001. And then from that came Marvel Legends in 2002 with their first wave. The Iron Man, it was Toad and Hulk and
Right. I remember seeing those toads like fucking 6'10" deep on those pegs. Like nobody wanted that fucking thing.
yeah. Compared to the other figures in that wave, it sucked because they pulled it from that transition era. Like it had been tooled up for a different line, but they threw it into the Marvel Legends line.
That was like that weird shit there, like the Venom wave, and
right
when they didn't know which direction they wanted to go yet. Like they're still doing like 5 points of articulation, but on like a 5.5, 6-inch figure.
Right. Yeah. Like some of the figures in that wave were like hyper articulated. Like I think Iron Man had articulated fingers. And but
when did you start over there, Bobby?
I was going to art school. I was going to the Kubert School for Drawing Comics, and I remember when we had a friend of mine in class. He worked at a big comic book store in New Jersey, and he brought in. I remember he brought in a sealed case of that Spider-Man wave, those first Legends that came out, the Spider-Man classics, and I bought every single one from him. I was like, I want the whole wave, and I ate that shit up. The Spider-Man wave, and then the Avengers wave that came out, Hulk with the bendy fingers. It was innovative, man. Like, it was crazy for the time. You were like, wow, you never saw anything like it. It was like before that, like I remember before that, the Spawn figures that McFarlane first did were still like 5 POA. Maybe they had articulated knees, but nothing was really like at that Toy Biz level. Like they changed the game. It was something totally new, and I was hooked, man. But then it's like it got crazy. Like it got crazy with variants and all that kind of shit. So I was also a bigger Star Wars fan at the time. So it wasn't like I got really heavy into Legends because I was collecting, the Power of the Force and Episode 1 stuff. But the Legends stuff I was still getting.
Yeah. For me, when I first saw that Spider-Man Classics and that first Marvel Legends wave, it was everything I had wanted as a kid. I remember going to Toys R Us with my mom and getting that first wave of Toy Biz from like 1990, where they had the Spider-Man with the suction cup hands and the cap with, I think he shot the shield, and the Hulk, he would like crush the blow molded boulder. And I had dreamed of like having a Spider-Man that would like actually articulate. You could like put him in a wall crawling pose or something. And so when I first saw that Spider-Man Classics, I'm like, this is what I've always wanted. And it was really what got me back into collecting as an adult. And then when that first Marvel Legends wave hit, it was like, oh, okay, we're going to do it now. We're going to get these, deeper Marvel characters and more than just Spider-Man.
Remember when they would do they'd set a set of figures out, and then they would come back out with like a repainted case of the same case?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's something I wish that they would do now, instead of like doing like, say they do a Wolverine and give us a repainted set. Like we can buy them or not buy them. Like, but then now you got a brown Wolverine in one set and a yellow or like a mask off. Like I loved when they did that shit. Like I thought it was a great way to get. It's like if they ever did fucking Wolfsbane or Feral or just like mostly Wolfsbane. You need her in like multiple costumes. Like that would be a perfect situation to do something, to take advantage of that. Like, but I don't know. Because I knock them for repaints, but that was like some repainted shit that actually made sense. Like I actually liked when they did that.
You remember that variant Ben Reilly they did back in those days? And he had like the soft goods, like hoodie.
Yeah.
And that thing was so hard to find because it was like a chase figure. It was like a chase variant. That thing was awesome. I remember my girlfriend at the time, we were at the mall and she was like shopping. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go look around, do my own thing. And I walked into KB Toy Store and I saw that thing on the shelf. And I was like, I was kind of collecting because that was like early Marvel Legends. And I saw it and I was like, oh, she's going to think I'm a nerd if I buy this, man. So I left it there. Yeah. I left it there on the shelf and I kicked myself after that because I never saw it again because it was a variant. But so Toy Biz had the license up until 2007, and I'm not sure if like Legends was doing very well because this is pre-MCU, right? Hasbro came in and bought up the license in 2007, and the figures improved maybe a little, but man, those early Hasbro waves were rough, dude.
Well, they were using a lot of Toy Biz molds.
Yeah, they did reuse a lot of the molds. Yeah, I remember specifically they reused that Wolverine mold.
Yeah.
But then in 2008 we got Iron Man, and things were. See, look, there it is. He pulls that thing off the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Has that Richard Simmons tank top on?
Yeah.
Fucking. This thing actually holds up. It's like before they did those shit balls on the shoulders and whatever. You should have just accepted being a nerd, and this thing would be on your shelf right here. But you're too worried about getting pussy. So now look at you.
Hey, priorities, man.
Yeah, apparently.
So we're gonna start talking about Hasbro, but first let's get to a super chat. James Salzberg, thank you very much. He says, "Analog Toys, my wife watched your Boba Fett video with me and completely agreed with your analysis."
Yeah, it's shit.
Yeah.
Hey, just for when we're talking about Boba Fett, like I was like, "The fuck's up with this podcast? Maybe I should watch a couple of these episodes before I come in here, see what I'm getting myself into." And you guys were bashing Boba Fett, and I was like, "Fuck these dudes!" Like, I can't wait to fuck these dudes up. And then because I'm a huge Star Wars fan,
yeah.
And then the last three movies were just such dog shit. It just the worst shit I've ever seen ever in my life. They trashed everybody that I love. Like it just the worst shit ever. And then when they made Mandalorian, I was like, okay, John's gonna save Star Wars just like he saved Marvel. Like Marvel was in the fucking toilet. Mm-hmm. He came along, made Iron Man 1, and boom, done, home run. He did the same thing with Mandalorian. I thought it was fucking amazing. Boba Fett 1, the episode 1, book 4. I thought it was. I loved it, man. Like I loved it. It gave me that old Star Wars feel. And you guys are sitting there calling Boba Fett a bitch and a pussy and all this shit. And I get it. I don't disagree with you. Like I get it, but I'm like, fuck you guys. This shit's amazing. John's my boy. I pretend like we're friends and shit. Like I tell people like me and me and John are friends, like first name only. Then episode 2, and I was like, fuck, they hit a home run. They got the Hutts out. Like fucking, you're bringing back Hutts, and these fucking assholes are talking shit about this. And I was like, fuck these dudes. And then episode 3, and then I was like, yep, those guys are right. This shit sucks. This shit fucking sucks. Fuck you, John. Fuck you, Catherine Kennedy. Fuck Boba Fett. Like, fuck all that shit. Are you kidding me? When they had that Vespa gang, I was like, fuck no. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do something that I hold dear to my heart? Like, I was like, now I can't even come in here because I wanted to rip you guys a new one, and now I just have to agree with everything that you said. I'm like, they were right.
Ahead of the curve, man. We're ahead of the curve.
I mean, look, there's a lot of good ideas like that. The Black Wookiee, Black Chrysanthemum, that's cool, but you got to use them right. I mean, the Hutts, awesome, but just the story they're telling, and they're just like nerfing Boba Fett. Like the last episode of Mando, he walks in. And Bib Fortuna's like, hey, Boba. And he's like, shut up. Bam. And shoots him.
Awesome. That was awesome.
Awesome. That's not the same character that's in this show. Like,
no,
he's written completely different. Yeah. Anyway.
How did that Black Wookiee get in? And then after the Mos Espa Vespers fuck him up, he walks out the front of his palace and the two Hutts are just there going, yeah, sorry about that. Here's a Rancor and a convicted criminal.
Yeah. And then they let the Black Wookiee go, and I'm like, no, man, if he's a hired gun, hire him for your gang, because all you got is these two weak
I was surprised they didn't keep him. I was like, wouldn't you want to keep him?
Yeah, that's the angle. I
Gamorrean guard, but you didn't keep him? Shit, man.
If he had 2 Gamorrean guards and a Black Wookiee, that would have been sweet.
Just the Black Wookiee, like, fuck that. He should have killed the whole Vespa gang, and now he's the muscle. Like, that would have been fucking gangster, but
he's got a boy band on flying KitchenAids. Is what he's.
Listen,
got.
you got to cater to the emo crowd, man. I saw it and I was like, I know what they're doing. That's marketing, bro. That's marketing.
Yeah, it's called losing fans. Is all it does. Like, do you guys like any of these Disney Marvel shit? Is there anything? Like, I hate. Oh, let's hear it.
Hawkeye was decent.
Here we go.
Everything
how
else
the
sucked.
fuck was that decent?
Because you got to see Hawkeye like be cool.
No, you didn't. You got to see some chick in there, but I only stuck around for 2 episodes, and then I just saw clips after that. Like when they demasculate Kingpin and fuck any chick out there can beat him up. Like, fuck that show, dude. That's like
the last episode.
Everything Disney now is bullshit. Like, it sucks. Like, I told Bobby to watch Hit Monkey. He told me to fuck off, that he ain't got time for stupid shit like that. But then, have you guys seen Hit Monkey?
No, is it good?
Well, fuck all you guys. It's amazing, bro. It's really good. Like, it's the complete opposite of anything Disney. And you're like, holy shit, this show is actually really good. Like, it's tons of it's awesome. But the Disney shit, like I don't even try to watch this shit anymore. Like, when Hawkeye came out, I have like a couple people were like, oh, it's pretty good, but you gotta wait for it. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to fucking wait for it. Every episode should be good. I shouldn't have to wait for it. They should come out. Like, we already know who the fuck Hawkeye is. We already know why we love Hawkeye. Like, give us that in the first episode. Don't give us a bunch of bullshit. God, that show was just so shitty. Have you guys ever watched a nerd channel called Nerd Erotic?
Never heard of it.
You got to check it out. He does like movie reviews and shit. He's like real, he's the baddest, smartest dude ever. Like, I have to watch his channel to see what he says about some shit just to see if I liked it or not. Like, I'm like, holy fuck, they were right. It's like when you guys were talking shit about Boba Fett. I was like, I think they're kind of wrong on this one. And then after episode 3, I'm like, yeah, they fucking had that shit figured out way before I ever did.
Yeah.
See, I just couldn't.
Have you seen Spider-Man: No Way Home?
I loved it. The last movie.
Yeah.
I thought they killed it. I mean, of course, I could pick it apart for days, but after all the Marvel bullshit, fucked up, shitty movies, then that comes out, and I'm like, all right, I can get on board with that. Like, I thought it. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Like, I only saw it once. I had a really good time. I enjoyed the movie. Of course, there's shit that I hate about it, but I mean, I go into this shit. I'm a nerd. Like, I want to like it. Like, I really do. And then it's just like Black Widow and Shang-Chi and fucking all this stupid shit they do is just garbage, and all the Disney shows suck. Then I don't know. Did you guys like Spider-Man?
Heck yeah.
I haven't seen it. I actually haven't seen it yet.
Fuck. Let me tell you how it ends.
My bad. I didn't know you said Nerdrotic. Yes, I've heard of Nerdrotic. Gary Beekler.
Yeah.
I like his channel. He's good.
Yes, Spider-Man: No Way Home. It's the only thing since the Infinity Saga for Marvel that I've enjoyed. Since the final snap, everything's been shit since then.
Yeah.
Right.
What do we get? We got Black Widow and Shang-Chi and Eternals, and those movies freaking suck.
Oh my god!
I finally watched Eternals last night. What a mistake! I fell asleep. I didn't get to the end. That movie was horrible.
It's one of the worst ones.
Guess I don't need to watch it now.
You do not need to watch that.
Eternals?
Yeah.
I've watched the first 15 minutes. That's it. Even James Bond was easier to watch than that.
Oh, Jesus.
We got some
I knew not to fuck around with James Bond. Like, I knew that would be a woke piece of shit right there.
Yeah,
but Eternals, I just went just for I had something to make fun of. Like, I'm like, let's just for we can talk shit about this tomorrow. And it was a fucking long 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Thank you, Unboxing Art, for the super chat. He says Falcon and Winter Soldier had a sus relationship in their series. Well, maybe. Thank you. Matthew Matson. I didn't finish Falcon and Winter Soldier because it was so bad. Matthew Matson, thank you very much.
2 episodes is all I could get through.
Yeah, it was like that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, which was horrible. Matthew Matson, Hawkeye pissed me off when they made first responders cosplayers and complain about not being heroes. Thank you for the super chat. Oh yeah, the LARPers, the dude with the
Yeah.
dude that had the Hawkeye suit. Yeah. And thank you. That's it for super chats.
So Bobby, right? I know you made this guy here.
Yep.
Did you make this one as well?
No.
Did
When
you
so
deliberately make
that was
Thor?
the what was that, the 80th anniversary? So me
Yeah.
and Dwight, Dwight was a little bitch, and
You're
he
kidding
was
me,
so
Dwight?
jealous. He was so jealous when I came on like the brand, and like they were using me on, you know, like live streams and things like that, and I was kind of like becoming like more recognized. And you know, he couldn't handle like all the work. So like, I don't know if he was told to or whether he decided to, but he was like, he had to start giving me some of the 6-inch stuff. Cause up until that point, I was doing the 4-inch stuff. I was doing the 1-to-1 role play, you know, prop replica stuff. And I was doing the 12-inch stuff. Well, the 12-inch stuff, they fucked up and that went away. And he was like, hey, I'm going to give you some of the 6-inch stuff. Almost like, hey, I'm going to do you a favor. Like, fuck off. You need me to come onto 6-inch. And he was giving me what he probably thought were the scraps when I was like, bro, I'll take Spider-Man all fucking day. And then I got to do half of the MCU 10th anniversary figures, and then I got to do half of the 80th anniversary figures. And I don't think he likes Thor, so that's why like I got Thor, which is my favorite of the Avengers. So I was like, fuck yeah, dude. He gave me the vehicles line, which was awesome. He and I would always split Comic-Con items, which was cool. Yeah, so like those 80th ones, he took Cap and Iron Man. I took Thor, and I think I did someone else.
So my question, why'd you make Thor so much bigger?
Because he's a fucking god.
Yeah, what's wrong? It's perfect.
Were you having a dig at Dwight?
Well, no. So also that Thor was built off of the Hercules body. So I think his arms and upper legs were the Hercules arms and legs. So when you're reusing someone else's
This
legs,
isn't the Desert Rat body?
so you have to make the torso proportionate to the
Take
arms
your
and
shirt
legs.
off. Let's see.
Fuck no.
No, come on, let's check it out. I bet you may be onto something here.
No.
Let's do a side by side.
So, like, I love this Doctor Doom figure, right? And I love this Thor figure. Why don't they come with stands? Why don't we get figure stands?
Remember what I said about that royalty? Yeah, that's why. That's why. That's why you don't get stands. That's why you don't get hands. Dude, listen. I got in trouble because I was on some douchebag show where I talked about perceived value.
We can use names here, Bobby. We can use names.
No, because he's a douchebag.
You-
We don't like his show, so we don't want to give recognition to his show. But he had me on, and he actually threw me under the bus. He told me, hey, I want to talk about this. And really the show was about something totally different. So what I talked about had no relevance to the what he put in the description for the show. But anyway, I talked about the problem with G.I. Joe Classified and this whole perceived value thing where like you have Marvel Legends at $20 and Black Series at $20 and you have G.I. Joes at $20. Well, if you have a G.I. Joe figure with no royalty and it comes with a bunch of hands and a bunch of accessories, and you're like, wow, that G.I. Joe figure is a way better value for $20 than like this Marvel figure that has zero accessories, you're going to be like, what the fuck, Hasbro? They're both made by you. Why does one have more and one doesn't? So what they do is they tone down G.I. Joe to make it look like the watered down bullshit you get with Marvel and Star Wars. And I say watered down, but really it's not Hasbro's fault. It's Marvel Disney's fault because they, implicate this huge royalty and make you have to do this kind of watered down figure for $20. So that's why you don't get stands. They just can't afford it. Like they're not going to put, if they can put accessories, they put accessories where they can kind of squeeze it in. But it's like really hard to do that. It's hard to get a bunch of accessories in. Mm-hmm. I remember items I worked on, I was always cutting accessories just because I would always kind of push it to the limit and wait till my engineer said, yeah, we can't afford that. And I'd be like, all right, well, at least I tried. I'd always try. But that's why you're not getting stands.
When they say can't afford it, like say, like a paint app, like say you take this Spider-Man, the eyes are white. They say you wanted to put just a blue dot in there. What does that cost? Like, what is that, like a whole additional paint app?
Yeah.
Is that a huge expense?
Each eye is a paint app. So back in the day, every paint app was registered by a hit. And you can, like, if you're looking at a figure and say it's like the torso, you say, all right, well, one hit of paint here, but a torso is rounded. So it's probably 1 hit, 2 hits for the front, 3, 4. So you need 4 hits of paint to do the front and back because of the way the figure is rounded. So each hit used to be a penny. That's probably not the case anymore. It's probably more because costs have gone up. So we used to always, like, I would count, like I've been doing it so long, I can look at a figure and count accurately, at least within a hit or two, on how many hits of deco that figure is. So yeah, when you do the eyes, it's not, you can't just do 1 hit for both eyes because the head's round, so you're not gonna get them both. So it's 1 hit and 1 hit. Nowadays with the digital printing, it's not registered as hits of deco because it's done by inkjet. So it's one operation that sprays the face. Whereas it used to be a hit of white, a hit of the iris, a hit of the pupil and the eyelash. So it was like 3 hits per eye. So 2 eyes would be 6 hits. And it's like you're spending all this money on eyes, when you're doing the face. But now the inkjet kind of nullifies that because it's all one operation.
So would they tell you how many hits or paint apps you're allowed to do per figure?
You kind of have an idea. Basically, it's like, when you're first starting out, like, you want to talk with your engineer and you want to say, all right, what's the average? And it was like, I think Legends figures were an average of something like 75 deco hits, I believe, if I'm correct, if I'm remembering that correct. And then it's like, if you go over, also like the guys in the model shop, they'll know. Like if you spec a bunch of colors and they're painting it, they're like, hey, you're probably not going to be able to afford this. Or it goes to China and then they cost it based on your paint master, and then they send back their cost sheet and you're over. That's when you have to start reducing deco.
Right.
And basically, you get like a budget for like a whole wave, right?
Yeah.
So you might move more money to one figure,
exactly,
and skip on a couple others, right?
Exactly. Like when I was doing that Spider-Man wave that had when they were doing that bullshit comic where it was the symbiotes again, and I had to do that stupid Carnage Goblin and the black costume Spider-Man. That was some Jesse bullshit that got pushed on us because they're working with publications and publication always wants their stuff in. So like I had to take up 2 spots with those stupid ass figures, but I was okay with it because I looked at that black costume Spider-Man and I said, dude, that's not a lot of deco. It's just the white on his eyes and the white on the spider on his chest and back. So I knew that I can make one of the figures way more expensive in the wave to compensate for that figure, which was going to be really cheap.
This right here is why I hate when they mix movie figures and comic book figures.
Mm-hmm.
That reason right there.
The comic figures will always suffer. Always.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how about when they do a wave? When they get a wave, do they get a price per wave? Like say it's $100, regardless if it's movie figures, comic book figures, whatever. Like that's your budget. It's the same budget for every Build-A-Figure wave, period. Or do they get a bigger budget for movie?
Yeah, you get a bigger budget for movie.
Oh.
Let's get to some super chats. Pokey87, thank you very much, man. He says, Bobby, thanks for the awesome figures. Who do they think gonna beat Action Force? Nobody.
Listen, I'm just trying to make cool shit, man. The fact that you guys love it is awesome. So I'm just trying to make stuff. I'm trying to make these figures evolve. I'm trying to get better with every series, and I'm trying to get this stuff out really quick to you. Series 2 is coming really, really fast, which is going to be really cool. And then Series 3, there's going to be some cool stuff coming this week to announce.
Like
for Series
what? Like what, Bobby?
What for
Everything,
Series 3?
We're not selling Russian spies here. You can give us a little more. So what do you got?
No, I'm saving it.
You're not working a fucking Marvel Legends anymore, where everything's top secret. Like we're gonna fucking. break into the fucking White House.
All right. You know what? I'll say it. So me and Laser Pants sometime this week are going to do a live stream on my channel, on the Valaverse channel, and I'm going to do an unboxing of samples of Series 3 of the female figures. Just got them in.
Are we doing like bikini tops and thongs, or what we got?
No, dude, they're fucking military chicks, dude.
Okay. All right.
I mean, one of them has a tank top on. She's pretty hot.
Okay. All right. You got nips in there?
No, I don't know.
like some feeders, like, you know, something we can latch onto.
Some nice perky.
Something you can
Bobby,
chew
who the
on
fuck
like
do
a
you think's
cigar butt.
buying your shit? Soccer moms aren't buying your. You got to cater to the guys that give a fuck if there's some feeders on there.
That's right. That's right. I don't have a licensor.
Okay.
No.
So when you were say you did Thor, and you go, well, I did Thor and I did Kingpin, which Kingpin, fuck, bro, come on, man, that was ahead of its time. But let's say you did Kingpin. What did you actually do? Like, did you sculpt it? You design it on a computer? What do you do?
So basically, the way designers used to work was they would draw the figure. They would draw a front, side, back figure.
So you draw it.
Yeah, but not anymore because you're working on so many items. So at the time, I was probably handling 120 items. I for about 5 years, I handled the most items than anyone else on the Marvel team, just because I was really efficient. I was really good.
That's why they fired you right there.
Exactly. Well, they fired me because my director was a douchebag, and I called him out on doing things against company policy. And instead of keeping me, they swept that under the carpet, and I got laid off. And then 6 months later, that guy got promoted. So,
right.
Yeah, that's how corporate works.
But, you know, so it's like for the 12-inch
it's a good thing that Jesse and Dwight went to bat for you to tell them, like, hey, this motherfucker's turning out some good shit.
Dwight wanted me gone. Dwight didn't want me on the team anymore.
Apparently, Jesse did too, because did he chime in?
He has no say. Jesse has no pull.
Fuck those dudes.
Jesse has no
say.
Jesse has no pull with Hasbro day to day.
If he talked to them and said, hey, this is fucked up, I'm sure shit would have changed.
I mean, I'm in a better place now, but
there you go. I'm happy for you.
But I forgot what I was saying.
That's okay. We'll get to a super chat.
You were saying how you design a figure because you got 200
so
figures.
on the 12-inch figures, I would do all the drawing.
I'm actually paying attention, Bobby. I'm a fan. Those other two motherfuckers above you, fuck those dudes. They don't even listening to you.
No,
you got me on the edge of the chair, bro.
We just used Bobby for
Comic-Con, looking at you standing there with nobody talking to you. I felt bad for you, and I was like, "This is the motherfucker. This is the talent." And they give him some bullshit 4-inch figure line that nobody gives a fuck about.
That's right.
It's not. It was sad. You remember when they'd have those panels, and then everybody have their little time to shine. They do their little fucking Marvel Nerf guns and blah blah blah. And nobody gave a fuck. And then you would come and everybody like take a little nap or check their phone or shit. Because all anybody ever cared about was the fucking 6-inch shit. And I was like, why the fuck they got the talent doing the bullshit that nobody gives a fuck about? Like the 4-inch shit is whack. Like you can't like, what do you do with that shit now? Nobody gives a fuck about it anymore. I'm not downgrading you. I just think that they gave you the wrong assignment. They didn't use their talent where their talent was needed. They gave it to, hey, fuck this dude. We'll give him the shit that nobody wants, which sucks. But anyway, you got 200 figures. How do you design the one figure? Like, what do you physically do? Like, how do you take credit for Kingpin when Kingpin's one of the best Marvel Legends anybody owns?
So for Kingpin, I actually drew the input drawing because there are certain figures that you didn't have time to draw everything. A lot of it, you just pulled comic reference and you work with your sculptors and say, I want them to look like this. I want them to look like that. But like Thor and Kingpin, I drew those out because I wanted those to look the way I wanted them to look. And Kingpin, I know you didn't like the white suit, but I didn't like that whole comic purple.
No, I love the white suit. I just like the other suit better.
Sure. I get it. But to me, it was like I wanted to treat Kingpin a little more grounded. I wanted him to, like, what would he look like today? Like, he's a fucking gangster, dude. So I wanted him with some alligator skin fucking shoes, and I wanted him with a ruby pinky ring, and I wanted him to be fucking cool. It was also kind of a way to stick it to Jesse, because I fought that motherfucker so hard, and he told me Kingpin was just a fat dude in a suit. And I said, dude, he's on everyone's top 10 list. Everyone's.
Check
So
this
I
out.
stopped doing it.
So
And
that year,
Yeah.
because that's when me and Jesse were cool. Like, we're not anymore. Like, I followed that bitch on Facebook, and then once he started sucking Joe Biden's dick and everything, I said, I can't associate with this fucking Weasley liberal prick anymore. I don't give a fuck how you guys vote, but his shit is so far fucking left. Like, fuck, dude. Like, it went so far left to where he stuck his own hand up his ass. Like, he is fucked. Like, he is fucked up. Do you guys follow Jesse on Facebook?
No.
I don't. I'm just gonna throw
You
my
should
notes
see
out
it.
for the show.
I blocked him.
Don't
but
need
just
these
for pure
anymore.
entertainment value. It's fucking insane. So this is back when me and Jesse still used to be kind of cool, and then I saw Jesse, and I would rip him a new one every year, and we were cool. We were cool back then, and then that fucking Kingpin dropped, and then I pulled Jesse aside, and I go, Jesse, what the fuck, dude? This is it. This is fucking it. This is the shit that I've been asking for 20 fucking years, and you finally hit a home run. This is the best shit you've ever did. And he took 100% credit for that fucking thing. He didn't say your name. I don't even think he knows that you worked there at the time. Like, he did not give a fuck.
Hey,
And I was like, and
No.
I thought that Jesse was responsible for making something that I hold dear to my heart. And then when you go, I made Kingpin, I'm like, that motherfucker. Like, fuck that dude. He is such a Weasley bitch. It's insane. Like, and then he lets you get fired when you got the best Marvel Legends.
Hey, tell him what he called
What's
Kingpin.
What's the best Marvel Legend in your collection?
That I did?
In our total? What is the best one?
I'm a really big fan of my World War II cap on the motorcycle.
I mean, mine's Man Thing, but that Kingpin's up there, bro. It's up there. The fact that it was pinless before there was pinless.
Well,
and I go, Jesse,
but it's pinless because it's single jointed. It's not double jointed.
who gives a fuck?
But listen, tell him what he called.
Guy.
Tell him what he called Kingpin. How did he refer to Kingpin?
I remember fighting with him. I remember being like, Jesse, he's on everyone's list. And he goes, I don't know why people want him. He's just a fat guy in a suit. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I remember like fighting.
You got a fat guy in a t-shirt right above me. So
Dwight told me.
Yeah.
Dwight was like,
how
dude,
dare
you
you?
should probably. Dwight was like, you should probably give up on Kingpin and find another Build-A-Figure. And I said, I'm not giving up on him. He is the one to do. If we don't do him, fans are going to roast us. So I did him, and I remember at Toy Fair, we're in like the Hasbro suite. They usually they rented like this room and had like all the reviewers come up, and we had this big conference table, and like we showed the figures and stuff. And I remember we had Kingpin out there, and I was up there with Ryan Ting and Jesse Falcon. And I remember all the reviewers, everyone was eating up fucking Kingpin, eating him up, saying how awesome he looked, saying what a great figure he was. And I remember I leaned over to Jesse and I said, just a fat guy in a suit, huh? And he had no fucking clue what I was talking about. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, remember when you told me he was just a fat guy in a suit? And he kind of laughed and he goes, dude, I don't know what I'm saying half the time. And I'm like,
dude, do you remember when at Comic-Con when they're doing
Tucker, just shut up for a second. Let's get to some super chats. All right. Blake Quammen, thank you very much. He says, I always appreciate Bobby explaining the business side of decisions that toy companies sometimes have to make. That's one of the best parts of having Bobby on any podcast, because there's no other guy in the toy industry that will talk about it like he does.
And I don't know, I get why people can't talk about it, but it's like I have the freedom to talk about it now. Even though Hasbro doesn't like it and I get in trouble, but I don't give a fuck.
World Made of Cardboard, thank you very much. He says, in reference to your early discussion, what if G.I. Joe Classified started with the same body but different armor, weapons, heads, and arms to make the original 12 males and 1 female body?
They wouldn't do that. Listen, guys, remember what I was saying about things being dated? Listen, man, there's nothing wrong with the OG original Real American Hero straight arm figures. There's nothing wrong with them. You don't want to just keep rehashing that shit, man. You have to evolve. You have to do a fresh new take on things. You can't just like, yes, granted, classified. They're going back to some vintage stuff now, but it's like you're going back to vintage stuff where you had unique characters like Spirit and Major Blood and Zartan. Mm-hmm. Don't go back to those green shirts. They were all the same guy. So it's like that would be a terrible business decision. Granted that, yeah, some fans would love it, but it's like that would just be a bad move to do from a business side of things.
And never go back to that gung-ho body. That's a horrible fuck. It's way too big.
Way too big.
Brian Dillingham, thank you very much. No message, but we appreciate the super chat. Felipe, thank you very much. He says, Bobby, does Hasbro pay you anything since they will be using your Thor design again soon?
No. So do you know why? Like, you'll look at like a NECA figure, and on the bottom it says sculpted by, designed by, painted by, is because they give credit to the actual people that work for them, that, you know, the talent that they care about. When you're at Hasbro, you're represented by that Hasbro logo. You're under their umbrella. That's all that matters. You know, even comics, it's like it says writer, penciler, inker, colorist. It tells who was responsible for that shit. Mm-hmm. Hasbro don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. You are just a number to them. They're just a paycheck they pay out. You are a body in their office, and they don't give a fuck who or how many people are responsible for making that item. They just care about their bottom line. That's true
you know, corporate culture.
Is that why they never explained the Sentinel knees?
We all know whose fault that is.
Yeah.
Right, Tucker? Whose fault is that? Big Daddy Dwight, right?
Yeah, I mean, who else could it be?
Big Daddy Dwight.
That to me, I thought it wasn't a huge deal. Mine were loose. I did have to tighten them, but it didn't. It wasn't a make or break.
But for you, you're a guy that buys the figure. You'll tighten the knees and you put it on the shelf, and it's on the shelf. But
Right.
for guys like me that like to pose them up differently, take photos and stuff, that's a big issue because the more you move that, the screw's going to get loose. The more you tighten it, that thread's going to get stripped.
Does it though?
Well, I haven't
Are you
gotten
fucking
there
with
yet.
yours? Oh,
Not
You
yet.
what?
But... Not yet, but I will.
oh, okay.
But, and here's the thing: it's $350. They should have got it right.
They should have got it right.
Yeah, Cookie Bricks. Thank you very much. He says, "I don't understand why his name is Talker."
Yeah, that's weird. I don't get it either. It's fucking just a cruel joke.
Thank you, Cookie Bricks. Cobra Saboteur, thank you very much. He says, first time caller, long time listener. Jesus Christ, the stream is amazing. I'm having a blast. Can Talker become a semi-permanent guest? No.
I get that all the time, guys. Just get used to it. You're gonna it'll I mean, I get a lot more hate than I get love, but it's crazy. Like all the other YouTubers fucking hate me. I couldn't imagine why, but then
I don't know why.
I get a lot of love from the viewers, and all they do is talk shit about the other YouTubers. So
yeah,
but,
I heard you.
Yeah.
I heard that you're mad.
The YouTubers, they do a lot of stupid shit, man. They got to get that dick out of their mouth and do some real shit. Like, it's just so boring to watch. Like, there's nothing better than when there's a Hasbro panel, and I'm just sitting there like with just a shit grin, just going, "Oh, I can't wait to see the guys when they rehash the video." And they got the lube out, the napkins out, and the numbing throat spray ready, and they're just to do those videos. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I can't, like, I'll just sit there and wait, and I go, please drop a video of what you thought of the Hasbro panel, and then it comes, and then it just makes my evening, and I love that shit. Like, I love the ass kissing. It's like fuel to me. It's amazing.
Look,
that's why when Bobby hit me up, he called me. He said you don't want none of these shield channels like reviewing his shit, and then he sent him to shield channels anyways. But whatever, that's cool. That's cool. And then I don't know, man. Like I ran that by. I didn't know what shield meant, and then somebody told me, and I was like, holy fuck, the description couldn't be more correct. It's just amazing.
All right. Talker, you got to stop holding back. Just say what you feel. Night of Ren. Night of Ren 789, thank you very much. He says, I love talker art. Weird. I'm freaking dying over here. This is the best POA podcast ever so far.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thank you.
And on that note, I have seen a few people in the chat who have not come across your channel before, Talker. So for anyone who wants to check it out, there's a link.
I'm sure I'll get 3 more subscribers after this. Yeah, it'll be great.
Well, it won't be this guy here.
Sorry.
Because I give a fuck about that. I mean, I got all the real dudes, all the people that matter are already watching the videos. Everybody else can suck a dick. Like I don't need them. Like if you're watching Pixel Dan's channel or whatever, you don't even come my way. Like I'll get people like I'll just completely talk shit about something and then they'll like come at me sideways and I'm like, why the fuck are you here? Like hit the unsubscribe button. Go back to Shart's channel and get the fuck out. Like, dude, like I don't need like I don't know how you stumbled across my channel, but you came to the wrong place. Like I don't need the extra subscriber, bro. You're not gonna help me pay my mortgage. This shit doesn't really matter to me. Like I'm cool with the limited amount of people that I have because you read my comments, man, I got like some of the coolest people ever. Like fuck, they talk just as much shit as I do. And then Shart will chime in on a video, which I don't want to talk shit about Shart because I actually do like the dude, but he'll chime in and you'll get like 10 dudes jump his shit, just fucking jump. And this idiot will actually start commenting back, like trying to defend himself. And I'm like, then I'll call Shart and I'm like, Shart, just fucking go away, bro. Like, just stop. Like, he just so gets like when you guys fuck with me or whatever, it's great. Like, I love the abuse. Like, I work construction. Like, I mean, this is just life, dude. Like, we go to the track and all we do is talk shit. And then when you come in the action, you mean, man, most of these people are like fucking Dwight, dude. They're just bitches. Dude, I talk shit about Dwight, and then I had to suck Jesse's dick to get a pass to go to Toy Fair. And I go, Jesse, man, I've been hitting up Hasbro. They're not letting me in. Can you get me a pass? And he goes, well, Dwight said you were busting his balls, and I don't want you busting his balls. And I go, of course I'm busting his fucking balls, dude. Like, that's what I do. Can you get me a pass? And he got me in. Like, that's thank God for, like, he has been there for me, but God, dude, it's
I can't believe when Shartimus pulled out that Harley Quinn figure at Comic-Con during a Dwight interview, I can't believe he wasn't blacklisted for that. Dwight was fucking furious. That ruined his weekend.
You know why? Because 500,000 subscribers. That's why. They want that free, promotion.
That's true.
I caught up with Dwight at the fucking Mattel booth, and I caught up with Dwight at the DC collectible booth. When we were at the Mattel booth, he was sitting there looking at him, and I go, Dwight, you fuck that. That's it. I go, you got this shit company over here making pinless action figures. Why can't you figure this shit out? And he was like, oh, and I go, look. I go, you obviously know this shit is fucking sick because you're over here trying to figure out how they put it together. I go, if you need me one, I can give you one of my old figures and you can take it apart and figure it the fuck out. I go, there's no reason why Mattel's over here making pinless and you don't even know how. And then like the same fucking year, I caught him over there looking at the DC icons or some shit. And he goes, what do you think about these? And I go, oh, I don't know. All original sculpts. Fucking amazing. Pinless. Compared to your repainted bullshit. And then he's like, I go, dude, the same boot, like you'll even put a boot cut in it and then you'll still like bring the boot up to a point with paint. And I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I definitely got blackballed from them for a reason. It wasn't undeserved by any means. Like I love Dwight, man. He's like my favorite dude to fuck with. Dude, when he goes to Comic-Con and he sees me coming, he's just like, fuck, here it comes. 5 days of this bullshit. Like, I mean, Bobby was there. Did you ever see me fuck with that idiot? Like, but he like go, fuck this fucking asshole. Here he comes again. 5 years of shit.
I remember, I'm trying to remember because there were times where like we would get ready for interviews and they would figure out who was doing what interview. Dwight did 90% of them, but you could tell like when he had like a scowl on his face, like he knew like, oh fuck, I got to deal with this interview. It's like some, you get the everyday guys, the Pixel Dans, Shartimus, like, you kind of know what you're getting.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, it's kind of an easier interview to do unless you have Chartemis pull out a fucking Harley Quinn during the
Yeah,
interview.
that was the
Amazing.
only thing that he's ever did that was cool. Was that like that?
But,
That was
Well,
like,
so much for having Chartemis on
finally.
our next show. That's
Yeah, bring him on. That'd be fun.
We might have to have
All
a
right.
chat about that first.
yeah. Cobra Saboteur, thank you very much. He says, Bobby, firstly, Action Force Series 1 is awesome. Loving the product. Secondly, can you expand when you said you got in trouble after talking perceived value? I think that was just like,
yeah. So
fan
what happened
backlash.
was I was on this dummy show, and then because his show has a lot of Star Wars fans, this one huge Star Wars site picked up the story and ran it on their website. You know, like ex Hasbro employee, you know, said, you know, outs Hasbro about perceived value and this and that. So
that was Jedi Temple Archives.
Jedi Temple Archives, yeah. So it got out there, and it's like as soon as I did the show, I was like, Hasbro was calling me this week, and I think that show aired on like a Friday or a Saturday morning, and Monday morning I saw a Pawtucket, Rhode Island number come up, and I said, I know exactly who this is, and it was I had talked to her before. You know, just because after I got laid off, like I was like, listen, you guys swept some shit under the carpet, and I have a bunch of shit against you. Now, granted, you used a layoff to kind of hide it, but I was trying to like see what I could do about like, you know, wrongful termination suits and this kind of thing. But you know, you don't really have a leg to stand on when it's a layoff because you can lump anyone into a layoff, and that's how you kind of hide stuff. That's how you slip stuff in. But I had talked to her before, so I knew her. She called me up. She's like, hey, Bobby. I'm like, I know what this is about. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, listen, what's the problem? And she's like, listen, you know, you can't talk about, you know, confidential stuff that, you know, business practices and stuff. I'm like, listen, I'm not under my severance agreement anymore. And she tried to tell me that my agreement was for life. And I just laughed at her. I said, are you crazy? And I went back. I was like, listen, I was like, first of all, that's bullshit because the severance is not for life. So I can talk about whatever I want. And I said, so two, you're trying to suppress me. I was like, you're trying to take away like my freedom of speech to talk about my experiences while I was there. I was like, so what you're saying is you're mad that I'm outing Hasbro's like bad business practices. I was like, I get it. Like, I get it. They're mad, you know? And it's like, of course, you know, I said, all right, fine. You know, so she said to me, she goes, you know, well, can you have that video taken down? And I was like, it's not my channel. Go to that person. And she's like, well, you know, we'd love it if like you could just get it taken down. I'm like, so you want me to do your job? Like you basically want me to go and get it taken down, even though it's not my channel. So I went to the guy and I said, hey, take this down. He took it down, no problem. Then I went back and read my severance agreement. There is nothing in it that says it's for life. No fucking term limit or anything like that. And I made sure I highlighted all that shit and I sent it back to her. I was like, you're trying to suppress me and you don't even know the language that's in your own severance packages. I was like, and then I never got a response back from her. She knew like, oh, fuck, you got me. So I bet you anyone that gets laid off now, they're going to put that language in that severance package. But
I remember.
What?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, so that's kind of how I got in trouble. It was like, I don't really get in trouble. They just call. It was like, hey, you know, we're kind of mad at you for, you know, calling us out. Okay. And
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Dad's Game Over TV is Dwight the guy with grandma curtains on Fan Fridays. Yes, he's the lead designer of Marvel Legends.
Yes.
But, you know, it's funny you mentioned that video because I remember sharing that video in a toy group on Facebook. And, man, the Hasbro shows were coming out just hating. But if Hasbro called you, you're 100% right. I can't argue with that.
And that's what I knew. I knew it. I said, oh, if I wasn't right, they wouldn't have called me. Guys, I worked on the first fucking 6-inch G.I. Joe line. I worked on it. I know what our costs were. I know what I was trying to do. I know all the hands and accessories and shit I was trying to put in that figure. I know what I was able to do.
Andrew Sabina, thank you very much. He says 4 POA podcasts with Tucker, please. Whew. I don't know. You down?
Bobby, on Action Force, is that I don't know shit about it. Is that like, is there characters that you're making? Are they based off of a comic book or a cartoon or?
It's my own story. It's my own IP. So it's a story that I created, the characters I created. So the comic books are based off of the world that I created. So it's not just like customizable figures. Like, it has a story and it has all this rich kind of content to it. So
what's the story? You did a comic book of Action Force? Like, what's the story?
So basically,
so there's an Action Force comic that you did.
Yeah.
And so you're making figures off of characters you've created.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering where you got the character selection or where that, because I didn't know if it was something.
I created and designed the characters, then I kind of came up with their names and backstories and the whole storyline that goes on. I have a really good writer who helps me with the comic. So I basically tell him like the plot and this is what I want to do and this direction I want to go, and he kind of fleshes out the story points in the comic. But it's all kind of controlled by the ideas that I have.
How long's the comic been out for?
We have 5 issues out. Issue 6 will be out next month. So yeah, pretty neat.
All right. Yeah, because I was wondering where it all came from. That's cool that you made a comic. Is that sold everywhere? The comic book?
Just on my website.
Oh, okay. So it's not in comic book stores.
No. We're trying to get it. We're trying to get it out there. I'm also looking at trying to get publishers to pick it up, just so it kind of take something off my plate, and I can have a publisher just put more time into it, because it's like I would like for them to do something monthly or bi-monthly where it takes me 3 to 4 months to get a book out. So I would like for them to come out on a more consistent basis.
Right.
Cool. You got to check out the comic, Stalker.
Yeah, I will. On the figures, like, because when you sent them to me, I got a huge response of people that were looking forward to it, and I was like, holy shit! Like, I didn't really ever hear of it much because I saw other military figures. Like, you remember I told you there's other one where they're blowing a bubble or whatever, and I was like, "This is some of your shit," and you're like, "No, that's not my shit." And then I don't know. I was surprised of how well they got out there. Like, and I don't know. I didn't see it, and then after I saw them, I was like, holy shit! Like, I had a lot of people hit me up going, "Fuck!" I was hoping you'd do a review because I was on the fence, and now I'm all in. And then a lot of people were saying, "Fuck, I can't find them anywhere. They're sold out." Is that the case?
Yeah.
Like, they were.
It's sold out quick. Listen, we fulfilled all the initial like Kickstarter pre-orders, and then I put all the remaining quantities up on the website, and that shit sold out in a week. And I had just as many orders for the restock as I did initially, so it was like there was reorders of people, existing customers, and then a wave of just new people that caught on that was able to get it. I might be restocking some stuff this week. I got to do some inventory and see what I have left, and I might be putting some stuff up. I also have some new items that I haven't announced yet that are going to go up possibly this week. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's it kind of. I know a lot of people are unhappy that shit sold out, but listen, man, this is the nature of the
That's the feedback I was getting when I was like, Bobby, are you reading some of these fucking comments? And I had other people hit me up on Instagram and text and whatever, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, this shit's sick, and now I can't get it. I mean, I hate repaints, but have you ever thought about repainting Series 1 and putting it back out there?
So what I'm probably going to do is I might take 2 or 3 figures from Series 1 and reissue them this summer. So like the Steel Brigade and the Swarm are like the highest sellers. I might redo them and offer them again in the summer.
Okay.
Cool. Unboxing Art, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, so many G.I. Joe man babies saying how Joes didn't look like the vintage Joes and hated them. Have they not seen Pursuit of Cobra line?
That was the greatest G.I. Joe era ever, was Pursuit of Cobra. And when I was working on my 6-inch iteration of G.I. Joe when I was at Hasbro, I modeled my stuff basically off what they were doing on Pursuit of Cobra. They took the existing characters and they put a real world twist on them and kept sort of that vintage kind of flair, but made it very, very much a more grounded character.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Which is what I ended up doing for Action Force.
Yeah. Brendan Haley, thank you very much. He says, "Hey Bobby, have you had any luck shipping Action Force Series 1 to Oz? And are there any Australian distributors who have all of Series 2A and 2B for ordering?"
Oz. What do you mean Oz?
Australia.
Oh, it's usually AU.
No, it's slang over here. It's Oz.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have an Australian distributor. I'm also looking to bring more on just to get more options out to you guys in Australia. So, yeah, the fan base is growing in Australia, especially thanks to this stud right here. But yeah, it's available right now. Series 2 is available right now with Action Figure Industries. But
yeah,
like I
think so. I'm doing a live stream later today with Action Figure Industries and Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse. I think his website's only got Series 2B, not 2A. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he didn't
and what Brendan's there talking about shipping to Oz, I think he's one of the orders that got returned from Jamaica, New York to you.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'm addressing all of the ones that got returned on Monday because stupid USPS. You would think if they were blocking shipping to Australia, they would have flagged it when it said you're trying to send a label to Australia, like, hey, we're not allowing shipping to Australia. But instead, they took my money and they let me print the label and they let me send it out, and then all of them got returned. So I think I have all of them back, and I'm going to be probably doing it through my carrier UPS on Monday, getting all the Australian orders initially for the Kickstarter back out to the Australian customers.
Cool. All right. Cobra Saboteur, thank you again. He says, "Tony, I know you have less invested in Marvel Legends than the other three guys in the show, but the Punisher, Doom, and World War II Cap are some of the best in my opinion. Nice picks."
Yeah, I'm a vintage collector. This is an illusion.
But those are solid figures. That Doom is really good. That new Doom they put out.
Yeah, well, that was someone sent that to the channel, but yeah, the Punisher and the Captain America bike. I've gone out and bought those myself, and I don't know how I feel about the Hydra Stomper. Have you got that, Talker? The Hydra Stomper from What If?
I do, which I hated the show, but I absolutely love the figure because I told myself I wasn't going to do any of that Disney Plus bullshit. And
Yeah.
I saw that in the store. I held it in my hand, and I was like, "Holy fuck, $55! I gotta get it." It kind of, I mean, it blends right in with all my other Marvel Legends, so I couldn't pass on that, dude. That's an amazing toy. Like, I love it.
It's a great figure, but that price tag hurts.
The 55
Yeah, I
bucks.
just at that price tag, you should be able to open it and maybe not have a little Steve Rogers figure in there, but at least have like his head and shoulders, where you can open it up and actually see Steve in there or something. But
yeah, that would have been cool, but I didn't like the show anyway, so I didn't want his head in there anyway. So it wouldn't have been a bonus for me.
Did you watch the whole show?
That cartoon?
Yeah.
I watched that whole episode, yeah.
But you didn't watch the whole series, every episode?
No, I got burned on it. I wasn't feeling it.
That show, it takes off in the last two episodes. The last two episodes, if you're
See,
a
I
fan,
get so sick of people telling me that bullshit because it should take off on the first episode.
I totally agree with you. But don't watch anything but the last two episodes. That's all you need. It's awesome.
Maybe I'll revisit. I heard they were good. I tried watching that Bro Thor one, and I just I was like, I'm out. I checked out. Like, I'm done with this bullshit.
That episode was horrible.
To me, it's like Marvel is like the classic Marvel, like back when I was reading books like 100 years ago. It was so perfect. It was so great. You don't need to do What If. You don't need to do a bunch of bullshit. You don't need to do a woke version of all the characters. You don't need to do a gay Captain America. You don't need to do fucking Snowflake and Safe Place. You don't need to do bullshit like that. It's amazing as is. Just let it be amazing. Like, you don't have to fuck with it. It's already really good. And then that's why with the Disney shit, I don't like their spin on it. They're taking something that I love, like, because Marvel's like one of my favorites. I really like Star Wars, but Star Wars is hard to follow because they fucked it up so bad. Where I thought Boba Fett was good until you guys told me I was wrong, and then I was actually wrong. I admit it. I was wrong. I was like,
but see, Ryan, what you're saying there about What If going like it really takes off in the that's why I pissed off all these Star Wars pussies today.
Yeah,
because
I
they're
know.
coming in going, but the show's not over yet. It might start getting good. I'm like, dude, I'm 128 minutes in at this point.
No,
Yeah.
I totally, I totally
my
get.
optic nerve melted.
Right. No, I totally get being out and not continuing. I actually stuck with it, and I'm telling you, you can skip everything. Watch those last 2 episodes of what
Are
if.
those with Ultron?
Yes.
When he had like the Infinity Gauntlet in his armor, I just the image of it, I wasn't really feeling it.
Well, then maybe it's not for you. That's fine. Skip it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
sucks.
probably right. It'll be like Bobby skipping the fucking Hit Monkey when he knows it's fucking amazing.
So what?
Has anybody fucked with that MODOK show?
No.
No.
Yeah, I haven't either. I was wondering.
Hey, Tool, I've got to ask you this question. Have you seen and what do you think of Zack Snyder's, what the fuck is it, Justice League? The Snyder Cut?
I mean, the first movie sucked. The 7th movie, it just took more of my time. Like, it didn't do a whole lot for me. Like, I was, what was it, fucking like 8 hours long, and it just, I don't know. Like, I think going to work would have been more fun. I'm not a huge DC fan, and it didn't really hit for me. Like, I mean, I'm always so stoked when they have superheroes or supervillains or villains, or like when you show me that, that was cool. Like to see Darkseid on screen, like that was cool. I liked it, but I mean, I struggled to get through it the first time. I would never come back for seconds. Like Boba Fett, like or Mandalorian, I usually watch those episodes like 2 or 3 times. And even though like with Boba Fett, even the 3rd shitty episode with the Vespa, I'm just such a fan. Like I'm just so happy to see a Rancor on screen again. Like to where just giving me that, like it hits home, man. Like, cause I'm a nerd, bro. Like I love this shit. Like when you put 2 huts on a cart with dudes carrying them, like I can watch that like 20 times in a row. Like, and I think they killed it on the huts. Like I think they did it. Like that black Chewbacca. Like fuck, dude. That was amazing. Did the fight suck? Yeah, of course it sucked. If he would have killed the Vespa crew, we'd all be sitting here going, "Fuck, that was amazing!" And then he took their spot. That didn't happen, but I don't know. It hits in certain, like with Marvel, they pretty much never hit on their movies. Like they never. The costumes are too far off. The characters are too shitty. Like when Shang-Chi, did you guys see that fucked up movie?
I wish I had those 2 hours.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna ruin it for you, Bobby. They have this chick, Katie figure, just a plain ass fucking chick, just a dude's bitch, and she fucks up. She kills the dragon, bro. Like she doesn't know how to shoot a bow. She learned how to shoot a bow in 5 minutes, and then she saved the day. She is Marvel. Like she was the star of the fucking show, and I just go, yep. I'm done collecting Marvel movie shit. Like I'm just done with it. Like they killed it. Like Shang-Chi, like I get it. Like the dude was like fucking like it goes back with like some dated slave shit and all kinds of cool racist shit and all kinds of that I know that they can't retouch on. But if you're gonna rewrite it so far out to where Katie is the star of the show, you know, the chick that you saw for $3, literally $3 on the fucking shelf like 2 weeks after she came out. Fuck, that thing was shit. That movie sucked. God, it was so disappointing.
I watched it, and when it was done, I immediately regretted watching it. Like, wow, I wish I had those 2 hours back.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. Is that how you felt after the Cinder cut? After 8 hours of that shit, the Snyder cut?
How dare you?
Did you guys like the Snyder cut?
So Tony
hated
had questions to set me up.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna fucking stand by it. I'm gonna say that the Snyder Cut is one of the best movies like ever made. I love long fucking movies. I make that listen. It should have been 8 hours. The fact that it was 4, I loved it, and it was everything that movie should have been. That Joss Whedon fucked up.
It was definitely better than the Joss Whedon cut.
I like a little bit more superhero in my superhero movies, but that's cool. If you don't, that's up to you.
Cobra
You know me, Bobby. I actually think that redo of Ghostbusters with the chicks in it is better than the Zack Snyder Justice League. So
We're not friends anymore.
Dude, did you wait a second? Did you actually
I'm dead
watch that
serious.
movie?
I'm dead
Did you
serious.
watch
If you don't apologize to me-
Ghostbuster?
If you don't apologize to me, I'm canceling every fucking order for Desert Rat, and I'm stopping.
You're hitting on a different level
I'm
with
fucking
that one.
serious. I'm serious. We're not friends right now.
I'm sorry, Bobby. 300 is shit as well.
That Snyder
Okay.
cut, you could literally get up, go make a fucking sandwich, come back, and you wouldn't even know that you fucking left. Like,
Yeah.
you could be like, "Oh, I gotta go take it." Even like my buddy sitting next to me, I'm like, "I'm gonna take a shit. You want me to pause it? No, go ahead, bro. You ain't gonna come back in a fucking couple hours. You'll be fine." Like, there was so much downtime in that movie to where. I don't know, man. If I want to see a good story, maybe I'll go watch Godfather or something. I tune into superhero movies for one thing. I'm not there for a good story. I'm not there for a good plot. I want to see Spider-Man in his fucking Spider-Man costume with his mask on, shooting fucking webs, spinning dudes up. That's the only reason why I'm here. Like, I'm not looking for a great plot and story and all that bullshit. That's when I see like people trashing Boba Fett. They're like, the story sucks. The plot sucks. Who gives a fuck? You got Boba Fett. You got the Hutts. Like, that's why I tuned in. You're giving me what I want until you threw the Vespas in it. Then fucking no. Which I will be. I will be the first one to watch episode 4. Don't get me wrong.
All right.
Hopefully.
Cobra Saboteur, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, Bobby, your thoughts on the newest classified figures, specifically regarding to perceived value aspect as the new figures, Bat, Alley Viper, etc., have their trays packed with gear. Why? Management change?
I mean, I've talked about it on our show before about how they course corrected in, like, they couldn't have gone more in the right direction. It was like one of the bigger turnarounds I've seen in the toy industry was the classified line. Because it's like the movie line come out, and it's like I picked up the Scarlet. And you open her up and you look at her tray, and it's this little tiny, like, looks like she's built like a teenager Scarlet figure sitting in this giant tray with one crossbow. And I'm like, where's everything else? Like, she didn't come with anything, but then I see what they're doing now with the newest couple waves, and I'm like, holy shit, they're doing it right now. Like, absolutely, they're doing it right. And I think they probably made some decisions there and said, look, G.I. Joe is hot right now. Classified is hot. We need to, like, lean heavier into it. And they probably got someone to listen, and that's why they're going in the right direction now. So, yeah, you definitely have, that change. I hope it lasts long. I don't know if it will. But, also the price of the figures went up. They're at $25 now. So you might be getting a little extra because you're paying a little extra. So who knows? Maybe in a year they might drop back down to where you're getting one rifle, and that's kind of it. I mean, you're still not getting like the Bat. Yeah, you got some hand attachments, but I mean, you're not getting, like hands and stands and stuff. And I will say this. If you guys didn't see it, Tony put out an amazing video reviewing Action Force. And he, because some people, when they talk about Action Force, are like, well, it's more expensive. It's $32 a figure. Yes, it's $32. But Tony did an amazing comparison between one of my Action Force figures and the $35 deluxe Black Series Boba Fett figure. And what that figure came with and what Action Force comes with, and Action Force is still a better value. It has stands, it has hands, it has multiple accessories. Boba Fett had a broken rifle and a couple flame effects. So it's like, even what you're getting at $35 isn't the same value as what I'm giving you at $32. So, you're trying, yes, you can compare Action Force to the $25 Black Series and Legends, but it's not apples to apples. Action Force falls in between the deluxe figure and the $25 figures, when if you look at mine, it's still a better value than anything else out there. So,
Bobby, I'm right fucking here in front of you, and I said the same shit You didn't give me any fucking credit for that at all, you motherfucker. You had to plug some dude that ain't even on the fucking live stream? Like, bro, are you for real? I did the same bullshit. But whatever, bro. That's cool.
He did. He did.
Cool. Hey,
Sorry,
thanks for
sorry,
those.
Talker. I'm sorry. You
Thanks for
definitely
those
did.
fucking swarm wings, by the way. That I cannot believe you sent that fucking thing out without those wings. And then I saw one of these other guys.
Did I not correct the fucking problem? Did I not send it out?
Thank you for the wings, dude. That makes that figure like when I did that, I put those wings on the figure, and I like threw it in on like a tail end of one video, and then somebody goes, yeah, that figure is amazing. It's also like $35 fucking after you put the wings on it. And I was like, not for me, bitch, not for me. It's fucking free. This shit's amazing. So
not for
but
me.
That's the wings. Fuck, that set that thing off. Just that plastic, the honeycomb. Like your plastic. Did you make your shit in the same factory as Marvel Legends?
No.
Different? As because how come your plastic's so different? You just use a totally.
So here's the other thing. Just to give you guys some insight, I don't have to deal with the same age restrictions that Hasbro does. Their Marvel figures, we all know who's buying them. Guys our age are buying Marvel Legends. However, because of their contract with Disney, they have to put 4+ on all their items. They can't do adult collector products. I think the only thing we got away with doing adult collector was the 1-to-1 prop replicas because there was something different in the contract. But as far as action figures, they have to do 4+. So when you do 4+, you can't use some of the same, like my knives. My knives are really, really sharp. They have really sharp points in ABS plastic that'll they could cut you if you're not careful. But fucking Tony. So, but like Hasbro can't do a knife with that sharp of a point. They have to do it in PVC because of the age restriction. They have to pass all these safety tests for kids stuff. So yes, my plastic, I might have higher quality plastic for accessories, but Hasbro can't do it because of the safety standards that they go through.
Look at that picture above you and tell me how you like that movie again.
Listen, that fucking 3-minute scene with Jared Leto Joker is the greatest Joker scene of film ever, and I will stand by that forever.
Okay. Hey, go right ahead.
A world made of card. Go ahead, Tucker.
It's not like I can back it and say like Marvel actually made a good movie, so it kind of is what it is.
A world made of cardboard. Thank you very much. He says views of Spin Master's 4-inch DC line. I don't know. I don't collect it. I never bought one.
I was happy when Spin Master got the DC license because I liked what Spin Master was doing, but I think they kind of dropped the ball a bit on the DC line. I think that they do really good like young kid toys.
Yeah.
I think for like boys action, they kind of missed the mark on it. My son, I got a couple for my son, and there's just really nothing to them. There's nothing compelling about them. There's nothing innovative about them. There's a lot I would have done very differently, but I'm a huge DC fan, so I kind of hold DC in a higher standard. So when I see someone doing DC stuff and they're kind of dropping the ball, I'm like, shit, man, you could have done so much more with that DC line.
How do you like McFarlane shit, Bobby?
McFarlane, I'm like hot and cold with. Every now and then he does something that I'm like, wow, that's cool. But then it's like I see stuff and I'm like, what the fuck, man? And it's like I wondered why he does 7-inch figures. Now, a lot of it probably has to do with contractual obligations.
Because he's stupid. That's why.
When DC took the license from Mattel, you could start over fresh. And it's not like Spin Master's doing 6-inch figures. So McFarlane's the only one doing collector-based DC figures, yet he chose to do them at 7 inches, which I thought was a big mistake.
Huge mistake.
Huge mistake. It's like, dude, why do you think I made my shit in scale with Classified? I don't want someone to get my stuff and be like, oh, it doesn't scale with Classified. No. Right. My backpack holes and my foot pegs, everything's the fucking same. You want it to be the same. You got to know your customer. So if you decide, hey, I'm going to come out with this superhero line, but I'm not going to make it the same scale as the biggest superhero line on the market.
Right.
That's a mistake, man. That's a big
Yeah, they sent me, they'll send me some shit for free. Like they're hot and cold. Like sometimes they want me to review their shit. and I think they actually watch one of the reviews and they don't send me no more shit. But they'll send me like I got like 20 boxes that I didn't even open. It's just kind of like DC to me at this point. I basically need one really cool character of each. One really cool character of each. Like one Batman. Well, Batman I could narrow it down to 6, but just on some offbeat villain, I'll just pick my best one. I'd like to get rid of like 90% of my DC shit and just keep my best. But when they do like that Clayface that's coming out, like I'm like, for one, Clayface is one of my favorites. The Batman villains are one of my favorites. Yeah. So then the fact that they're doing that Clayface, I'm like, holy fuck. Like I look at my Clayfaces and I'm like, the Mattel one is still amazing. And that McFarlane one, like it's like, well, that's definitely an area where I can't get that down to one Clayface because I have to have at least those 2 in my collection. So when he does shit like that, I'm like, holy fuck, this is like really good. Like my buddy used to work there, a guy I ride dirt bikes with. And so he gave me like the whole inside of fucking why they do this and why they do that, and the characters that he's selecting. Like he was in trouble for a while. Like he had to have some help, and then and the people that are helping him, the only people they know is fucking Batman. That's why you see so many fucking Batmans. Not to mention that he sells, but it's. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, with that scale and those big fucking pin joints. I can't get into it.
The articulation bothers me a lot. It's like you're trying to use like SH figure art import joints when you don't need to. You know, it's very distracting on the figure.
Yeah,
and they're not using them right either.
If he did a 6-inch scale and he gave you characters that you actually gave a shit about, like I know that when he was doing that metal shit, like I thought that was the coolest shit ever when it first came out, and then like 3 waves into it. And you're like, fuck, do I really need this shit, Wonder Woman? Like, it just turned, it went in a bad direction really quick. Yeah. But a lot of that, I don't think he has a lot of say on what he's allowed to make or what he actually makes. But I don't know, man. I'm not digging it. Like, it sucks to give Marvel Legends credit, but their shit's good. It sells good. And you should probably make I love how your shit goes right in scale with Marvel Legends. Like that was like very smart, like on your part. You can display them together, or G.I. Joe for that matter. I don't collect G.I. Joe, but that was just amazing. And then, was it an accident that the heads are interchangeable with Marvel Legends?
No. I mean, Marvel Legends doesn't even make their own heads interchangeable. All their ball joints are all different sizes. Mine are exactly the same so that you can interchange every head with every figure. Hasbro doesn't do a good job of policing that, and I don't know why. They could have did that from the start, but you know that's probably Dwight missing a lot of things. But listen, if Marvel Legends figures fit on my bodies, that's great. I see a lot of people kind of popping heads off and making their own custom characters. I'm like, awesome. Not every head's gonna fit, but if you can get some heads fitting, that's great.
All right, let's get to some super chats. Blake Quammen, thank you very much. He says, Bobby, how cost-effective are Dio and effects pieces? That seems to be useful across every line. Is that possible via Valaverse?
Not cost-effective. It is. You're just I'm not going to say you're wasting money. Dio pieces and effects are... I mean, effects... If you do what Marvel Legends does and put the same effect with 30 figures, then sure, you're getting your money's worth. But, you know, every single person that does magic comes with the same magic effects. And there's been like 15 figures. Every Iron Man comes with that stupid bullshit blast effect that you've been using for the last 10 years. So in that case, sure. But, you know, when you have to make an effect specifically for one figure, that it is definitely not cost effective. Those are expensive tools. Dio pieces, absolutely, because you're only using that Dio for like one figure. So like with Hasbro doing those throwback Toy Biz figures where they're doing like the old Toy Biz, you know, Cap and Hulk and stuff, and they come with the Dio bases, like that's not cost effective at all. So yeah, no, it's not.
All right, hey guys. We've been doing this for 2 fucking hours. The race starts at 7, and my earbuds batteries are about to die. So, hey, it's been a pleasure.
I'm gonna wrap this up right now. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
Yeah,
that's
this
right.
shit's getting fucking. I mean, it's fun as fuck. I'm loving the fuck out of all of you guys. So,
all right.
if you want to
Matt-
do it again, I'm always more than down. Bobby, I'm a true fan. True fan.
Thanks, brother.
Not of your Action Force, of you personally. Your shit. Just the fact that I get somebody to talk shit about fucking Jesse and that dick sucker Dwight, it just makes everything to me. So, anytime you guys want. Fuck off,
Awesome.
and I'll see you later.
all right,
Thanks
later,
for
man.
coming on.
Okay, Tony, we can talk now.
Yeah, go back to your notes, Ryan.
We're already at 2 hours. The notes I threw them behind me already. So just to wrap up the Marvel Legends talk, it's been around 20 years. It's still going. There you go. Matt Talon. Matt Talon, thank you very much for the super chat. He says the new book of Boba Fett Black Series Deluxe Series is even worse. All I can see extra for the deluxe price is an extra head. Did they even give you that? Because even the shill channels are like, this is not okay. They want $32 for this figure, and he's a basic figure. He's not deluxe at all. They just spread the few parts that he comes with in the box. They spread it out to make it look bigger.
Is he the one where they originally showed him with soft goods and now they have him with sculpted legs?
Possibly. They might have showed him with soft goods first.
Got it.
But it's the season 2 Mandalorian Boba Fett where he still has the big robe underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's ridiculous. I agree. And then we got one from Cobra Saboteur. Thanks again, man. He says, Tony, don't stop giving Bobby crap for his ridiculous Snyder Cut obsession because it's well-deserved. Oh, shots fired. Also, he should be Baker acted for saying Destroyer is better than Barbarian.
It is
what I'm
better.
What I'm going to do to apologize to Bobby is when I come to the States, I'm going to hire a whole movie theater just for me and Bobby, sit down, and we will watch Conan the Destroyer together and have some beers.
All right.
I don't understand how people don't like. It blows my mind that people don't think that Destroyer is better. Barbarian is so boring. It's so boring, and it doesn't really give anything to Conan. Conan is the fucking man in Destroyer, and it's got a better supporting cast.
So a World Made Cardboard said this was about Marvel Legends. It was supposed to be. All right. We had a topic. I had notes. That all went out the window. But yeah.
Just before we close this, I've got to ask Bobby. You were starting to talk about it there with Talker. So your Action Force line, right? You deliberately made it so the backpack pegs were the same as G.I. Joe Classified, the foot pegs. Yep. How does it make you feel to know that Hasbro are now copying you and having the right size holes for your muzzle effects?
I mean, listen, I don't want to sit here, I've bashed Hasbro enough and, everyone gets upset about it, everyone gets so sensitive, but listen, I'm certainly going to make my stuff work with them. It's smart of them to make their stuff work with me. I'm not going away. And you've all seen how hot Series 1 is. I am not going away. Everyone that thinks that Action Force is going to be something small, like a flash in the pan, it is not. It is 100% not. We start filming the movie at the end of 2022. Ooh. So everyone that thinks this is a small line can go fuck off. So this shit is happening. And make it work. We should all be working together. All of our lines should all work together. It's stupid.
When are you going to start selling figure stands? Because I need to order about 100.
So see how I did the muzzle flashes for Series 1? It wasn't part of the pre-order for Series 1, but then I made the muzzle flashes available. I'm doing stand packs where you're getting, I think, 4 or 5 stands in different colors in one pack. Those will be available after Series 2 shows up. So it's going to be like an add-on item later on that you can order.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because I've got a tip for people in the chat, right? I love this Doctor Doom figure, but the weight of his cape, he can't stand up on his own. You put him on the metal-looking Action Force stand, and it's gangster, man. It's fucking awesome.
Cool.
I actually think you made that stand for Doctor Doom.
All right, so there was some housekeeping from last week's show. We got a super chat after we actually ended the show, and that was from Tac Tac Toys. So thanks for that. I'm just going to read it out. Bobby, I got one of my mini incoming Steel Brigade from Toys R Us here in the UK. I adore it. Big shout out to you, Desert Rat, Tony, and Sir Laser Pants. Keep up the great work, everyone. Thank you, Tac Tac.
Thanks, man.
All right, we've got two more super chats we're going to read out real quick. Cobra Saboteur, thank you very much. Says, last thing, Bobby, for too many reasons to even count, I think it would be amazing if Gina Carano could be the celebrity figure for Series 3 or later. That's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Yeah. I mean, listen, I know I've done this trend of like having celebrities in like Series 1, Series 2. I don't know if it's something like, maybe because I've done it, maybe it is something that I should make a trend. But part of me, I've always said, I don't think we're just going to keep doing celebrities moving forward. But Series 3 is in production. You know, we'll see. I'm never opposed to anything. I mean, she's a huge star right now, so we'll see.
Yeah,
and she's gorgeous.
And she's gorgeous.
And she's a total sweetheart.
Yep.
All right, Skyfall. Thank you very much for the super chat. He says, "Love the Action Force figures, especially having the stand and the extra hands. Good night." Well, thank you, Skyfall. All right, so that was episode 6 of the 3POA podcast. Sorry we didn't get to the topic that we had in the thumbnail.
Doesn't matter, man. People were loving the show.
Great show.
Reading the chat.
I think it was a great show anyway. It was really fun. If you have a sense of humor, you probably really like this show. But we will be back in 2 weeks. What is that? That's going to be like January 29th. We'll be back with episode 7. No topic yet. We're not going to have a guest. But
didn't you say you were going away, or
that's in February?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries.
So until the 29th, check out Bobby's new Tony's new Boba Fett video. That was awesome. And
check out Bobby's live stream in the week. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. Series 3. What are you showing? Have you said?
Something.
Okay. All right.
No, you mentioned it during the live stream.
I did. I wasn't. I can't remember. Okay. I'm a couple drinks deep. I can't remember if I mentioned it or not.
All right, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Later.
Bye.